Welcome to 5 Stripe Weekly, everyone. Atlanta United has played their first preseason match, and well, they scored more goals than the Rams scored points in the Super Bowl. Plus, Atlanta United has signed another new player. All that and more coming up.
Welcome to the show, 5 Stripe fam. I'm AJ, this is Tanner McLeod. Before we get into it, become a member of the notification squad by hitting the bell next to the subscribe button on YouTube or hop over to Facebook and subscribe. So guys, let's get right into it. Atlanta United have a brand new signing in Florentin Pogba. Yes, Paul Pogba's brother. Yes, the kind of maybe less talented brother, but
well, I mean,
still,
when one's a World Cup winner and plays for Manchester United, you're probably going to be the less talented of the brothers.
Yeah, it's very it's tall comparisons, of course. And speaking of tall, this dude is a massive unit, 6'3", and still somehow shorter than Pogba.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, all the Pogbas are just units. I guess it's just the only way you can describe this.
Right.
I mean, but he is.
I wonder how big the family is. Like the mom and dad, they must be like 6'5", and then mom's like 6'2" or something.
Mom's been doing the dabs on the Adidas commercials now and everything, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, he is absolutely huge. And in terms of size-wise, it fills, I think, a physical kind of need that this team of didn't really have. I mean, LGP's
especially
big,
in the back,
he's physical, but not to the degree that almost called him Paul, but Florentin Pogba brings to Atlanta United.
You wish we had Paul, for sure.
Oh my God, no, I'm glad Paul's where he's at right now. No, keep Paul there. He's doing good things for the Red Devils. Let's continue that cycle on for the moment. But as far as Florentin is concerned, I think he does fill a gap that we kind of had in terms of a player that fits that mold.
I agree, yeah, and he's still kind of in years wise of how old he is. He's 28 years old, sort of still in his prime, but I mean, yes, there is the instance. Yes, he has been let go by the Turkish side, and I'm gonna full on attempt this. Yensker Birli.
From this point forward, I will call them G-Boys, because I'm not even going to try to pronounce them.
Yeah, definitely try it for yourselves, boys and girls at home. But yeah, he comes from the French side as well, played at Saint Etienne, a very, very famous Ligue 1 side, rather. And yeah, I mean, he's played in a bunch of Europa League games for them. I think 25, in fact.
Including a tie against Paul Pogba back in 2016, where Saint Etienne played Manchester United.
Right, and so, yeah, there's a lot of experience with the Florentin Pogba, the elder one of them. Yeah, he's also a twin, I believe, right?
Is Matthias his twin?
I think so,
maybe. I'm not sure. There's just three of them. I know it's Florentin, Matthias, and Paul. Yeah. Paul's my favorite, for obvious reasons.
But yeah, and so he's also a center back that's really good with the ball at his feet, for one, and that's very, very useful in a Frank de Boer system, of course. So, moving the ball very well is something that, we will rely on him to do. Especially, I think this comes in as a move for depth, but also someone that has the experience to start if needed, especially with all the competitions that we have. And especially if we play in a 3-in-the-back system, we will need that cover.
Absolutely.
Because if one of them drops out,
there was no cover really right now.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at all the center backs, I mean, essentially, I guess we have about 5 if we really look at it.
So LGP,
Parkey, you have Franco Escobar as part of that, Miles Robinson, and Florentin Pogba,
and I guess Jeff Florentin was possibly
as well. So yeah, you have the 6 in there more or less. Yeah, I mean, that gives you adequate cover, I think, for all of the competitions, especially if you need 3 in one lineup. So
I definitely think he adds. Yeah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with that. He is a cover signing who honestly is kind of one of those punts. But so far with Atlanta United, when they take a punt on a player or they see someone that they think works, they usually work out. So I think he's a player. I mean, who really thought of Eric Remedi before he came here? Sure. Now, I'm not saying that Pogba will play up to that level, but he is a Pogba, and I don't want to, be lazy with my take on this, but he's done some nice things, and I think that with a coach who will develop him in a league where physicality is definitely something that you can get away with if you're not as technically sound, but it sounds like he actually is pretty good as well with the ball, so he might end up being one of those guys that you didn't think would be very good, but turns out to be a pretty useful player.
Yeah, and yes, he comes with a little bit of a checkered past, maybe with, I think, leaving during a game where apparently he stormed off, but apparently he had an injury, and it was just something that maybe it's a he said, she said type of situation where you have really no idea what really happened that that night. But in terms of you know, the type of you know, what he comes in and brings in, I think it's immense experience that we really need, and I think it's you know, all in all, a good chance and a good flyer to take. I mean, yes, and also we knew about it for essentially what, almost like, I think
a week,
maybe a week or two, yeah, something like that. Where, you know, all the leaks coming out.
He's at the airport. Yeah. Paul tweet or Instagrams about it. It's apparently with Atlanta United and transfers and anything really, everyone will know, and then everyone will know. Yeah,
because essentially, you know, you have like TMZ essentially from the, you know, the fans. I mean, they're just there.
That says something about our fan base, though, doesn't it? That you don't really see that with other places, but like in MLS with Atlanta United, it's just like we sign players that have important names or they're bigger names.
Sure.
And it's just like, I mean, yeah, again, Florentin might not be the biggest name, but his last name is still Pogba.
Yeah.
Like his last name is still Pogba, so people know who he is.
Exactly. And so, yeah, when a Paul Pogba does Instagram or tweet about Florentin, it really puts massive eyes on this brand and on this product that it's super useful. I mean, essentially, if at any point he shows up at the Benz, I mean, this is gonna pop off.
I'm going to do everything I can to meet him. I'll be like, Paul, yo, where you at? Yeah, what's up? And then get him to sign my shirt and take a picture, and I'll probably cry because that's the person I am. Yeah. Not true, no, but I mean, yeah, if he has a picture with him in the Benz, like say with an Atlanta United shirt on or something, that is huge marketing for free, kind of, for the team. I mean, it's massive, but I guess, you know, you can't talk too much about it because he is a depth signing in that. And, you know, Carlos Bocanegra said, you know, he's a physical center back who also has the ability to play with his feet, like you said. He also brings an immense amount of experience, and we can expect him to compete for playing time on our back line. I mean, that's coming from your technical director. Yep. I mean, again, they would not have signed him if he didn't check those boxes.
Right, exactly. And so, you know, he was probably on trial for the time that he was not really announced. And then, you know, so they probably saw something useful in him, and, you know, something that, like, yes, sparked in the need of what we one playing style and just the needs of the team. I think it checks a lot of boxes. So I think it's you know, something that, yes, might not be the most marquee of signings, but it's something that might turn out to be very useful down the road. And I think
you got a coach like Frank de Boer as well, and as we saw on Twitter recently, that little thing he did with the 1-2 at Joseph.
Sure.
Coaches still got the passing skills and everything. Played center back. I think he can teach them a little thing or two about how to play at the back. So I think it'll all work out.
Right. It seems like, yeah, I mean, Frank de Boer, and I think I read this at, you know, in the pretty much interim when he was about to be signed, was that he's a guy that still is very active within the training sessions, and sometimes
Joseph appreciated the pass.
Yeah, he did, and I think it seems like maybe he like has a thing of like really wanting to. Yeah, he was in the El Rondo as well. Yeah. Like he is.
That's very important, by the way, for him. Like when I was in England this past week, I went and watched this film called Take the Ball, Pass the Ball. It was about Pep Guardiola's Barcelona, and I highly recommend watching it, whether you're a Barca fan or just a football fan in general. But it talked about the Rondo and how important it is for Barcelona and for Atlanta and these teams that play a possession-based system. When you do it that way, it is so important because it works on finding space, passing the ball, knowing where the person is, and being able to move it quickly and effectively in tight spaces, which is what Atlanta United has. A lot of good players. That's what Frank de Boer does. And the idea is that when you have players who can operate in very tight spaces, when you give them lots of space, like say the pitch on the Benz, they just tear teams apart.
Exactly. And I think it was evident with that Jeff Larentowicz cross to Joseph Martinez for that goal, I believe in against Red Bulls. I mean, you give him that much space, I mean, there it is. So that's what we can do to you, and you just like pinpoint it onto you know, onto a player. But guys, let's move on. As
speaking of preseason,
yes, something that we, I guess, maybe didn't get to speak about too much is that, yeah, I mean, the team has gone on preseason in LA, in Fullerton, California, in fact. But they also played their first preseason match, and it was something that we didn't get to see any of it. But
the score was nice.
The score was nice. It was a 7-1 defeat, or a win over Seattle Sounders.
We defeated the Sounders.
They defeated the Sounders. That sounds better. Yeah, and
we soundly defeated the Sounders.
Yeah, all the puns. But yeah, I mean, we got to see the highlights, and Pity Martinez, new boy, gets on the score sheet. You have a little bit of Dion Pereira scoring a brace. Fantastic. Joseph Martinez, of course, gets on the score sheet.
First person to score, no shocker there.
That's just what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know, it's good to see all these guys, you know, see the ball hit the back of the net because, yeah, it's hugely important that we get this team ready for the CCL because it's fastly coming up.
Yeah, I mean, and you've already seen the video, I imagine, as well, of Pity Martinez selling people dreams and nutmegging their souls out of their bodies already. He's clearly very comfortable and settling in already. Don't worry, guys. I think the one thing for me is that this is the first time in a game, friendly, I guess, because it was weird. It was 4 30-minute sessions as opposed to like a 90-minute match with halves and stuff. So it was kind of different, although we smacked the Sounders in every single one of those sessions. But, I mean, I don't think it'll be the first time that you see Martinez and Martinez on the score sheet at the same time. Yeah,
agreed. And, yeah, we'll obviously have to really be a kind of distinction, and you'll really have to, like, say it every single time. Like, Petey Martinez.
Well, he decided. Well, this would have been out after it was revealed. Obviously, he is our new number 10, as we found out immediately.
It says
after
G
Miguel
Martinez on the
G
back.
Martinez. I was really hoping it would say Pity, but it's just
it's
kind
what
of
he's
small,
had.
But G Martinez is what he's had. Yeah. So
it makes sense. I'm okay with it. But the back to the 4 30-minute. Quarters, I guess what you even call it, because it's weird like that.
Even more comparisons to the Super Bowl, which was trash.
Yeah, and I think it's more that it allowed all these players to get on the pitch, and that's really helpful. I mean, it's, you know, especially when you have all these competitions coming up, you want to get all of them that game time, and so it could be why that we, you know, haven't had some of these games, or most of them, you know, have a announcement for a stream or any sort of way that the fans can watch it or appreciate it and watch any sort of thing that is associated with it.
That's okay, because that's changing tomorrow.
That's changing tomorrow, but which is fantastic. We're playing Club Tijuana, the Cholos.
I guess today, if you're watching it on Wednesday.
It'll probably come out the day that this releases anyway, but it's able to be streamed, so fantastic there. But, I mean, I think what's really, really good is, getting those guys that, are part of that first team discussion, those valuable minutes.
Absolutely. And I think they're playing a higher quality of opponent in different circumstances as opposed to previous preseasons because they're playing their most important game first. So there isn't like a warm-up period or, you have a few MLS games and then you get in Champions League. No, you get Champions League. Not only is it in Champions League, it's away in Costa Rica as your first game of the season. So you have to play more difficult opponents and to beat them soundly, which is something that didn't happen last preseason. It gets the team feeling confident. Having that confidence, especially believing in the system that Frank de Boer is putting out there, that's very, very good. Because if that team is confident and goes into that first leg against Herediano, I feel really comfortable in what they can do. I really do. I think they're a very talented group of players with a very smart head coach who knows what he's going to be doing, and I think will be up to the level of the competition. So, I'm excited to see the stream and actually be able to watch them and see how they play and what they do and
how it's set up, the tactics.
Exactly. We can see the little differences between a Frank de Boer managed team and a Tata Martino managed team for the first time.
Yeah, and also seeing what Frank de Boer is maybe like on the sidelines as well. A little bit of that, and if he's a little bit more animated or if he's a little bit more stoic. I mean, I think, you may have seen a little bit when he was in the Prem and, of course, at Ajax, but I think it may be a little bit different in the beginnings of this because, I mean, it's he may not get as heated in a preseason, so it'll be interesting to see. But speaking of a Mexican team,
speaking of Tata Martino.
Speaking of Tata Martino, man, it'll be Mexico versus Venezuela, June, at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It was announced today on Tuesday. And that's, I mean, that is a massive kind of homecoming.
Perfect.
In a sense.
It's actually, I was already going to go watch, but now there's an even more reason for me to watch because I'll get to watch possibly Joseph Martinez playing at home against Mexico, which would be great to see. Mexico, maybe like a 3-3. Mexico do well, Joseph scores a hat trick. And then it's
Don't really care about the scoreline.
Everyone wins because we have entertainment. We have Joseph goals, and then Tata's happy because he didn't lose, but it's Mexico. I don't care. I'm going to go. It's going to be a great time. I actually really hope Joseph doesn't play, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, that's probably true. Or if he plays, it's like for a half. But and it'll be interesting to see how Tata lines up to kind of neutralize Joseph Martinez. He knows him very well, obviously, and so he would know his strengths, his weaknesses, and what he could pretty much try to neutralize.
I'd love to see like Joseph score, run over him from the technical area, do a celebration in front of Tata, like look at him, but then just give him a big hug because they love each other. Be like, hi Jess, come here, I love you.
It would be funny,
and then everyone would cry.
Yeah, right. Oh man, yeah, it would be some sort of match. I'm sure it's gonna be well attended as well because I mean, packing out Mercedes-Benz. That's what soccer fans really love to do here. So it's
we do it more than other types of football fans.
Indeed, but and so speaking of other types of football fans, Miguel Almiron has got his work permit done. Fantastic news. So he is eligible to train and play with Newcastle United, and that first match that he's possibly eligible to play is Wolverhampton on February 11th. And I think, for us, we're going to be doing a watch party with Unrelegated, the other podcast in Atlanta. Or one of many. But,
We know a lot about football here in the South. We look at it a lot and pay attention and have great opinions that people should look at and research before they make stupid comments.
Oh, man. It's pinpointed at some comments in our videos. But, and essentially, though, Miggy getting that work permit done, it allows us to be able to see him in another shirt, which is going to be weird, but also we're going to be cheering him on. So it's
clearly they need him. They were crying out desperately for some creativity against Tottenham this past week.
Yeah, that 1-0 loss wasn't...
I was really hoping he could play, because I really need Tottenham to drop points, because I really want Man United to catch them in Chelsea.
Yeah.
Selfish reasons.
And we want Newcastle United to stay up as well.
Correct.
Because, I mean, it's a selfish reason.
Yeah, but like you watch them, and watching this past weekend, you absolutely can see how he is going to go into that team, and I think he can immediately provide a spark.
Yeah.
They need someone of his ability, of his pace, really, to just run at teams and create havoc, because for being honest, there's not a lot of great defenses in the Premier League right now. I mean, even teams who have been looking good like Liverpool are leaking goals because teams start to get a bit leggy this time of year. If you have a guy who's fresh like Miguel Almiron coming in to run at them, that could probably yield some nice things.
Bode well.
I mean, for Newcastle as well, they have a pretty good defense, all things considered. For the position they're in, they don't ship goals like crazy, like say a Fulham or someone like that. So if they could just get that little spark of creativity and influence to help them get some goals, they could really be a decent mid-table side. So, Miggy is going to have that chance. I think he's going to go right into the starting lineup off the get-go, especially if he's had a week of training plus preseason training. I think he's fit enough to hop right in.
If not, I mean, it's a substitute appearance that really allows him to.
It's Wolves. They need him. It's going to be up and down. That Wolves team is very aggressive. They'll leave some spaces. They're a good team, but I think they're going to start him personally.
Well, I hope he has the match fitness for that.
He might not make it the whole way, maybe like an hour, but still, I'd rather see him start and give them an hour than come off the bench and give them 30. Because I feel like if he can get them goals, they're the type of team with the type of manager that might be able to hold on and get something, but chasing the game might be a bit more difficult for them at the end of the game.
But we will be watching that match at Hudson FC. It's a 3 p.m. match here in the States, so it will be a kind of just an awkward time, really. But it will be.
If you have free time, come on out and catch us for sure.
Exactly. We'll all be doing a pod together, and it'll be lots of fun, and we'll see how it goes. I think it will be lots of just banter and a lot of different types of talk that will be.
It'll be Premier League setting as well, so I'm going to be in my element.
Indeed. But
we haven't actually ever done a Premier League type thing or talked about it. That'll be an interesting thing. If you get me and Devin going on the Prem, though, and even Jay, it'll get really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of Arsenal people involved with all of this, because Jay's an Arsenal fan, and obviously Devin is unabashed. He has a tattoo on his chest. I think Kelly has said she's like an Ozil fan, which means maybe she's not an Arsenal fan anymore because he doesn't play. I don't know. I'm just gonna be really, really cocky about the whole thing. I'll wear a Man United shirt that day.
Oh jeez. But anyway, speaking of Miggy and Miggy's agent Daniel Campo, he spoke out on Union FC, a Paraguayan radio station, and boy did he stir up some comments and some angry
I think the
fans.
term they're looking for is chatted shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was, he had a bunch to say. And we won't get into all of it because it was a ton. But we'll get into the highlights, if you can call it that. But essentially, I mean, yeah, he was lamenting that Atlanta United put a lot of obstacles in front of the deal to, you know, get Miggy to Newcastle. He was kind of saying that was unexpected. He was saying that, yeah, I mean, you know, the valuation that was put on him was originally already the same evaluation that was about a month ago before that, and so that's also interesting. But it's the fact that, you know, if it really was, like, apparently it was 70 days, you know, and if they thought that he wasn't actually worth that number, I mean, it's interesting. I mean,
question: how many clients does he have?
I mean, a few.
How many clients does he have in the Premier League?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
okay. Yeah. Well, if it's more than one, then he should know this already. If it's just Miguel Almiron, maybe he needs to get clued in. Everyone waits to the very end of the transfer window to sign people, and Atlanta United has to look out for the club's best interest in relation to the player's best interest. They let the player go, but they also know that the longer they wait, the more money they can make, because that's how it works, because it's a business. But when they didn't get more money and they were comfortable, they let him go, because that's how it works for someone who clearly talks about the market and how it works. He clearly has no idea. Clearly, I'm saving the rest of it for later.
Yeah. No, it's a very interesting the whole almost transcript that was generously translated by Juan Aranjo and Roberto Rojas.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, which they got a little bit of flack for, but I mean, they were just the middleman. They were really just, you know, putting it out there. And also Juan Aranjo was mentioning that, yeah, maybe this little bit had not really gotten out into the American media because, yeah, there is maybe a little bit of safeguarding from this, you know, from stateside, that some of this information was a little bit old, and he was surprised that it was such a backlash on the comments. And so, yes, I mean, you know, a lot of us caught wind of it on that Sunday morning, and it was definitely, yeah, I mean, everybody had their thoughts and aired out a whole bunch, as did Daniel Campos, as he continued on to say, yeah, it was about money, and that some money was left on the table, and that some of the stuff, it was some bigger clubs were in on Miggy, and that they can only they can only bring him in on loan. However, that screams out a few teams. Apparently, it was. You know, it could be a slew of teams, really, but maybe it was, you know, maybe it was the Newcastle thing that was reported by Roberto Rojas in December, saying it was the 15 million plus a loan. Maybe it was that one too, but, you know, maybe some money gets left on the table, but I think it's the cost of doing business, especially when, you know, yes, okay, apparently also, according to Juan Aranjo, who was talking to our Devin about the deal, was that, yeah, I mean, Miggy was promised that he was going to go before the January window started. If that is true, then okay, sure. But I think, you know, the club needs to look after themselves first, unfortunately, and then also look out for the best for all parties. And you know, the only one that doesn't maybe make out the best is Newcastle United, because they had to break their transfer record
and their wage structure.
But I think in terms of Miggy, I mean, he gets his money. Yes, he may be missing maybe what, $1 million here. Maybe he missed out on some games that he wanted to help Newcastle United, you know, and maybe, you know, a few points there. Maybe they might be able to stay up.
They beat Man City. I don't know what everyone's upset about. Yeah. I'm fine with it. It all works out. He got the
of course you're fine with it, but yeah.
He got the move he needed to, and everyone should be happy with where they're at. We still broke the MLS transfer fee for, you know, fee received. Daniel Campos still got paid for his agent fee.
Probably the most he's ever had for a player as well.
Or he might ever get if he keeps running his stupid mouth. You know, I'm saving.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to touch on him a bit more later.
Exactly. But yeah, and so we'll wrap a bow on that, because yeah, it's essentially he talked a bunch. He opened his yapper, and you know, a lot of Atlanta United fans clapped back, and I think rightly so.
It's a recurring theme with Atlanta United fans clapping back at people with bad takes.
Indeed, but yeah, and so let's move on into Joseph playing football versus football with Adriano Monsalve of Univision. It was pretty funny. I mean, you see him kind of mixing it up with this lady, and also, about to throw a football, tiny little, what do you call it?
Like a plush football or
plush
something.
Football. Yeah, whatever it was called. Like whatever. But yeah, and he gets kind of handled by Adriana Monsalve. It's like, oh man, she has a pretty good arm, and he has to kick it, and he doesn't really get to it.
Man, it's all good. It was a fun watch.
Yeah, it was fun to see Joseph kind of cutting up a little bit, smiling, and it's not something that we all get to see on a common basis unless he's winning things. So But yeah, let's get into also Atlanta United 2 starting their preseason, so that's great. They're the reserve squad is getting together, and I think that's still hugely important.
New head coach
as well, and so yeah, I mean, he's a guy that comes up from the system. That's fantastic, and also of course the new stadium that they're going to be playing at. So yeah, Fifth Third Bank Stadium. So all this bodes well for the pipeline that we're trying to build.
I've understood that, by the way. How can you be the Fifth Third Bank? So wait, there's been 5
fractions,
banks?
man.
I don't understand. It confuses me.
Strange fractions. Maybe we just haven't really done.
So is there a fourth third bank and a third bank? What about the first fifth bank? Are they related or what?
I'll get the email for you for Fifth Third, and you can ask them all the questions.
These are really important questions I need to know.
For sure. But yeah, and it was some other things that we had questions about, but Franco Escobar pretty much gave all that away, or his girlfriend rather. But
like I said, everything leaks with Atlanta United. But also, like I said, don't worry, guys. It'll leak about a week or two before it comes out anyway. Yep. And what do you know?
Right. And so that unveiling event that was a little bit leaked on the parking of the Mercedes-Benz website is true. After all, it is February 15th. Also my birthday, by the way. And unfortunately, I will be in Spain with my girlfriend, and I will be missing.
Don't say it like it's the worst thing in the world.
It's not the worst thing,
You're gonna be in Spain with your girlfriend.
No, but
I mean, if you're gonna be anywhere and you hadn't had to be here, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world.
But I will be leaving this.
Basically, what he's saying is he doesn't trust the rest of us to do anything properly. But then again, when you look at me, you can't blame them.
And so I will be trusting these other guys to hopefully, run the channel. No, I've not said anything at all. But yeah, and so I will also miss the Champions League match, which will break my heart because this is not what I intended at all. I absolutely want to be at these events, but I think I will be leaving them in capable hands. Hopefully, and I'm still terrified, but
everything will be fine. You can't burn down the house on Twitter. Well, actually, never mind. Not gonna say anything.
But yeah, so the unveil event is at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and if you were lucky enough to get a ticket, then Roger Bennett will be the host
of Men in Blazers.
Of Men in Blazers, of the TV show and podcast. And yeah, I mean, I'm sure
he loves him some Atlanta United.
Oh, he does. He clearly, probably jumped at this case because, yeah, he and Darren Eales are buddies as well, I'm sure. So it's something that, yeah, I mean, he gets to also expand his brand, so why not? But yeah, I think it's going to be a cool event. I mean, it's something that there's always a lot of pomp and circumstance. And I think this is a much bigger event than even last year at the training grounds.
Well, I mean, I said they were going to go big on this. That's what I felt. That, winning a championship, new home strip. Yeah. I just felt that they were going to go big on this one. Clearly they have. Clearly it's a big event. And I think there's going to be a really good number of people there. And speaking of good numbers of people, this stat isn't really relevant in the sense of there's a lot of things that change. But Atlanta United had a higher attendance for the MLS Cup final than the Super Bowl did. And now I get the Super Bowl tickets are much more expensive, and you have a lot of, fans of different teams and, media stuff and all kinds of stuff.
Still a great stat nonetheless.
It's still a great stat because the Super Bowl was awful and I hated it because I was up till 3 a.m. in England watching it on a pad stream and my team scored 3 freaking points. I can watch Atlanta United score 3 goals half the time I go and see them. It's terrible. Whew. Terrible.
Yeah, it was. It was more like a baseball score than anything.
It was terrible, and the thing was, it was so tight. 3-3. So I have to stay up, and the Rams still have a chance until Goff throws a pick at in the fourth quarter, very late in the game, and then I know it's over because there's no chance for scoring again. And it's just like I had to watch the whole thing, and it was awful, and I was already tired, and it just made me angry. but also very happy that I decided to go do something else more important as opposed to spending a bunch of money, and having to personally witness that utter, never mind.
But guys, let's get into the injury report where, I mean, we're maybe not even, it's not maybe even an injury, but Darlington Nagbe was suspiciously absent from any of the, just anything in versus the preseason match in versus Seattle Sounders, rather. And so apparently, though, according to AJC, he was there. He had traveled with the team. Maybe he just had a knock. Who knows? Whatever it is, I mean, I hope Darlington Nagbe is okay. But yeah, and hopefully he starts tomorrow. I mean, I don't know, but. What was interesting was that Anderson Asiedu did start in his place, and so maybe there is that trust already with Frank de Boer to put him in, and you know, I mean that bodes well if we, you know, if he does feel like it's adequate cover for that. But hopefully Nagbe is okay and that he's not really even on this injury report. But guys, let's get into the giveaway winner, and this was the Petey Martinez-signed hat. And yeah, I mean, we had a ton of submissions. That was fantastic from you guys. We really appreciate all the entries that you guys gave. But yeah, the winner is Doug Levine. Congratulations. Please message us at the back end of our channel or DM us on our social medias. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I mean, I hope you enjoy it. Maybe not wear it too much. Probably put it somewhere in a box or something. But
I would have actually clapped, but it's really loud, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, congrats to Doug Levine. Congratulations. But yeah,
and thank you for subscribing, watching, and doing everything that was required, because that means a lot.
It really does. It really does help us a lot. But guys, let's get on into the mailbag. You guys send in these questions via IG story. Please continue to do so, and we might answer your question in the future. First question comes from Matteo Andante. What are your odds on seeing Paul Pogba at the Benz this year?
100%. 100% chance that man shows up to watch his brother.
I mean, yeah.
When you see how that family is, that family backs each other like 100%. I mean, have you seen, like, even today, Florentin on his Instagram story had a picture of his shin guards, which has like his whole family and all kinds of stuff on it. Yeah. Paul Pogba was tagged in it. That family is super close. And Pogba usually holidays in the States on summer vacation. He comes here a lot.
Yeah,
usually with his friends like Antoine Griezmann and stuff like that. So there's no reason he can, you know, make a quick hop down to Atlanta, watch his brother, come on our channel, do an interview. That'd be great. Something like that.
Oh, fantastic!
Sign my shirt. That'd be good.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna give it a realistic percentage.
100%.
And or the odds, I guess. What are the odds? So I'm gonna give it a 50 to 1 chance.
Wow. 100%.
But yeah, so it's pretty low. Sorry, but yeah,
100% chance.
Let's go bang on it.
100% chance.
Next question comes from Not Pierre 91. Then who are you? What do you think should be the realistic season goals for each homegrown player?
The first 90 Not Pierres.
I know, right? Yeah,
it's 91.
Perplexing.
I'm confused.
For sure. But yeah.
Let's see, goals for home. Now, are we talking like the number of goals they're scoring, or what their goals should be with the team?
Right. Yeah. So it's like their objectives, or yeah. So
I'd say if it's scoring goals, I think Carlton scored the MLS. That's basically it. And then I think with Bello, you know, like 3 maybe. I'm more worried about him chipping in some assists, but he's not really. I'm not going to look at him to score goals.
Yeah, that's a lot of goals from a left back.
Although with how Frank de Boer plays and how good he is, he might find himself in some scoring positions and taking those chances, which would be really nice if you can get goals from the back like that. In terms of playing time, though, I mean, I'm not really sure. I guess really just Bello starting left back, hopefully, and then Carlton getting his way into the first team a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you know, for him, I think it's definitely about getting into MLS games, and of course, he's going to be, I think, starting a lot of U.S. Open games, and then I think in terms of, I think if he gets 10 starts
that'd be
over
really
this year,
big,
that'd be fantastic. I think if Chris Goslin can get into the team for like 5 starts, also
if that, or just minutes from the bench, honestly, from Goslin, I think would be big. And I'm not really sure, even, you know,
Patrick Okonkwo, yeah, those guys, if they get a couple games with the first team, that'd be fantastic.
I think for them, though, I think for Goslin, Okonkwo, and who did I just say that I'm forgetting? Lagos Kunga. I think for them, playing consistent minutes at Atlanta United 2 this year is the most important thing for their development.
That's the vital part.
And trying to play almost week in and week out with that team. I think, not to kind of go back to Atlanta United too much, we'll get into them more as their season gets going. I think for them this year, their goal is probably to try to play as much of a consistent 11 to 18 players, obviously, as possible, because that's the most important part for the development of the younger guys. Is to play at the same level and play consistently is what's going to be important for them. So hopefully that's something that Frank de Boer would have talked about with Atlanta too, because he is going to have that kind of control or that vision over them. So hopefully that's what they shoot for, and I think that should be their goal.
Yeah, and of course it was difficult for them to be able to keep that starting 11 there because of all the moving pieces. I mean, it pretty much is a kind of reserve team that allows the first team to be able to pluck guys that they need here and there for, I mean, basically the results don't really matter per se in the USL for us. So it is what it is, but I mean, I think it's something that with that type of setup, I think it bodes well for all of our guys getting a ton of minutes. So next question comes from Devin For Real. What's up, man? Why are keyboard warriors so tough until you read them back their IP address and home addy?
I'm not commenting on this.
This just reminds me of the, like, I don't know if you've seen the African drug lord video.
YouTube videos?
That has gone around.
Where the guy's just like, I'm assuming using a voice changer of some sorts, then reads back the guy who's like chatting stuff. I'm pretty sure the kid was saying some very unbecoming things.
Stuff, sure.
But then he reads him like his address and is like, this is here.
Wait, how do you know that?
I think there's one where like the doorbell rings as well. And I think it's just pure coincidence. They might be set up, probably are because internet, but like, it reminds me of that,
it's one of those things. I think, I mean, keyboard warriors and trolls.
So much anger in your hearts.
Exactly,
let love in. Unless you aren't loved, and then kick rocks.
It has to be what it is because they come in and they all come in sounding really angry or just really salty about stuff, and
it's fine.
I'm just not here for it. I don't really care, man. So
it's fine. You can hate me. I really just don't care.
But next question comes from Ali Cupertino. Based on roster changes so far in MLS, who do you think poses the biggest challenge for us?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Very good question. It may be a little early to answer fully, but because some moves are still being made, of course. I think for me, it might be a DC United to a degree because they did bring in Lucas Rodriguez. Lucho Acosta did stay, and of course Wayne Rooney is still there, and they also brought in Jara from Boca Juniors on loan,
so we can guarantee he'll get nutmegged by Pity when we play.
But I mean, still pretty stout defensively nonetheless, and so they've shored up a little bit of their defense, so it bodes well a little bit more for them.
Maybe in NYCFC, I mean, they spent big money on a player. I mean, they would have been a really big amount if Atlanta United didn't exist. I think we can definitely say not Toronto.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because losing Jovinko, I mean, that's massive. That's, I think, arguably like top 3 best player in MLS ever. I mean, there's probably
he's
a good discussion
really,
there,
really good.
Yeah, and so Toronto, I mean, if they don't make a replacement there, that's, I don't know, but
good for them.
Yeah, but maybe on the West,
LAFC is still really good.
They're still very good. They lost some key cogs, but still are a very good team over there.
Galaxy still have Zlatan.
They still have Zlatan, so they might they have a full year of Zlatan as well. I mean, although they
get the full Zlatan.
And, who knows? I mean, it might be interesting because he is known to conjure some magic, and that's, it could be annoying for a lot of teams. Last question comes from Sammy Norton 99. Who do you think will be the biggest surprise of the year? It's a tough question, but I think, I mean, for me, it's like maybe 3 of them, maybe.
Yeah,
that
I'd say probably there's like 3 off the top of my head that I really think of.
So Barco, I think, because the expectations are so low from last year.
But he's so talented.
Yeah, exactly. The talent is there. It's just a matter of him being able to really express himself, show it, and get that kind of game time to be able to do it. And I think
Florentin Pogba, I think.
Yeah, Florentin Pogba is up there because I mean, not a whole lot of people are expecting a whole ton. And I think, as long as he does his job of being stout defensively and able to move the ball in Frank de Boer's system, then I think he will be a key cog in this team.
I think another one for me would be Anderson Asiedu.
Yeah, that's
I
a good
think
shout.
that he really might be able to step in and just become a Conte type player for us.
Yeah.
He just seems really confident. He has the right attitude, and I think he's going to just do everything he can to improve as a player and as a teammate, and to show Frank de Boer that he deserves to play.
Yeah, and I think you know, he is starting level at Atlanta United too, I think for sure, and it's a matter of if he can really really prove things to Frank de Boer, then maybe he might really get into some 18s in the future. I think my last one is maybe Breck Shea. This is an interesting one because, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were not expecting a ton of him coming in. Yeah, he's a guy that might be able to fill that wingback role, especially splitting time when we have, you know, George Bello maybe going to a competition here and there with the youth national team. And
Preferably not going anywhere.
Preferably not. But yeah, you know, and then so, you know, who's the logical guy to come in? Is it Mikey Ambrose? Is it Breck Shea? Maybe Breck Shea because of more of the experience, and you know, he is tall, but yeah, I mean that's I don't know, that's not a soccer reason why he would come good, but yeah, and I think
gives us a physical presence we don't have. I mean, I don't know, we don't have a lot of tall people.
Sure, but when you have to resort to that, I think that's when I would be very worried.
All I'm just saying is that, all joking aside, though, I think he does give us a different element in terms of having that size. You throw him in a, you know, Florentin Pogba on, it's just like all of a sudden a team that isn't really renowned for its physical presence necessarily in size, all of a sudden has that size.
We have those options.
It's a different option to change the game and give you a different way of playing that makes you more unpredictable and gives you more ways to play.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, it is kind of silly to say that, but also it is kind of true, though. He does give you a different type of option.
It's an element we didn't have
last year, which is something different because it's just adding another tool to that Swiss Army knife that is this team. And when you're, you know, trying to match up and line up against them, you have no idea what they're going to do, which means it's better for us and hopefully wins us some more games.
Absolutely. But guys, let's get on to our Wasteman of the Week segment. Who do we have?
Well, before that, I just want to say, how much would you pay to see Breck Shea score a last-minute winner in Orlando City?
Oh man, the hatred that they already have for Breck Shea, I mean, it would just be triple.
He'd be their Wasteman of the Week. But yes, guys, into the Wasteman of the Week, and it is the first one of 2019. Yeah, it's Daniel Campo. Bro, seriously, what's going on with you right now? You just probably signed, you sold your biggest player ever in the history of you being an agent. You got a massive check because agents always do. And in the end, he got his move. I get that you're his agent. You're looking out for his best interest. He might have been a bit irritated he didn't get to move, but that is the business that apparently you know nothing about, especially with England. I touched on it earlier. They always wait to the very last minute. I said in podcasts before, it's like a college paper. A college student who has a paper that they know is due, but they wait till the night before to do it because no one knows. That's just what they do. I mean, I don't know, you know, what crawled up this guy's backside, but like someone really put a bee in his bonnet for him to be this upset about things. Like I do not understand how you just got paid fat stacked, homie. Relax. Relax. And if not, hopefully Miggy just fires you because you're just a salty wanker and moves on so that when he gets his next big move away from Newcastle for even more money, you get absolutely pissed off because you are a dick. But most importantly, you're a waste man.
And that gets us to our question of the day. What have we got, man?
Well, guys, with Florentin Pogba finally being official, even though we kind of had an idea about it a week back, guys, it seems like we're probably done in the transfer market. But do you think that Atlanta United needs to sign any more players? If so, what position and why? I feel pretty comfortable where we're at right now, but if the front office was like, hey, we have this amazing player you didn't think of, and now they're here, I wouldn't really complain. But guys, who do you guys think we should sign? If we should sign anyone else, what position, why? Hit us up in the comments below and let us know what you guys think.
So guys, that's it for us today. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, smash that like button, and share this video because it really does help us a lot. And for Tanner, I'm AJ. Thank you guys so much for watching.